On this week's episode of our Wavespreneur segment, we are going to be celebrating a youthful and resourceful young man who is trailing the blaze in the professional industry of architecture. He is by name Kelechi Onyike MNIA. Kelechi is a registered architect and managing director, Podex Associate Limited, an architecture and design practice in Lagos, Nigeria. He has worked in the architecture and construction industry since 2004 as architect and project manager. He holds a bachelor's and master of science degrees both in architecture from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Nigeria. He is a full member of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, NIA, and registered with the Architect Registration Council of Nigeria, ARCON. Kelechi is strong in conceptual design, architectural presentation, graphics, and design presentation, as well as detailing. His experience includes work in coordinating conceptual design work, construction supervision, and project management in master planning, residential, and commercial developments. He has also had experience in graphic designs and an extensive use of artistic media. His interests include art, writing, motivational speaking, meeting people, and traveling. He is an alumnus of the Enterprise Development Center, Pan-Atlantic University. He is also a leader, mentor, and coach to young adults in his local church, Redeemed Christian Church of God, Powerhouse, Bagada, Lagos. He is married to Onyike, and they are blessed with 3 wonderful children.
My name is Kelechi Onyike, from Abia State, grew up in Owerri. I'm an architect, practice here in Lagos. I'm the CEO of Podex Associates Limited. We're an architecture and design practice, so we do different kinds of creative design, but our core is architecture. As a person, I'm a creative person. I like things that are hinged on creativity, because from childhood I like to draw, football, comics, things like that, and eventually I focus my creative energy in architecture. So I currently practice architecture. Office is in VI, and so from that studio we do a lot of our creative work in different parts of Nigeria, and I enjoy myself doing that. It's fun, right? Yeah. So I have 3 kids. I'm married. I have 3 kids. I love the children, so they inspire me. We do some creative things together, play, have dogs, I don't know. Yeah, but that's something that also kind of gives me some energy too. Yeah. Well, the thing is this. I think I've always felt like an entrepreneur, right? From time when I was in school, I was already doing, in fact, the co-founders in Podex, some of us were already doing some creative work back in school. So we're doing banners, we're doing stickers, because I went to UNN. And so while we're in school, we're doing a lot of creative stuff. We were making some money. Then we're called bricklayers. And we had this name called ourselves bricklayers. And we did a lot of that kind of creative work. So I always knew that I wanted to do something like that. But then I made it a priority to build a foundation first. I was like, you know what? I need to dedicate the first few years of my career to building capacity. So when I finished my youth service in 2005, I just said, you know what, the next 3 to 5 years will be dedicated to building capacity. So I was looking for the best possible practice to work in, which is how I found myself in ATO. And then I sat down there and absorbed everything. Even while I was working, I knew that the time would come when I'll make that step. I knew I'll make that step someday, but I needed to be ready. So I kept working, and while I was working, I tried to do a few things on the side, but I was getting to a point where I had to then focus. I knew that I couldn't continue to stay in ATO if I was trying to do other things, and I knew that those things I was doing wouldn't grow if I didn't make that move. So I got to that point where I had to make the move. I was enjoying my previous firm, and I guess I was making my own mark there too, but I couldn't continue to do the 2 things together, so I had to then focus, and that was when we officially, as it were, really came together to create a formal structure and create Podex. Yeah, great question. Podex, I think Podex has grown consistently, And when we first started, we were working mostly for private clients and maybe small organizations. But in the course of time, I think we began to build our profile, began to build our track record. And because we're big on structures, right? Structures like tax, like auditing our accounts and going through some of those pension schemes and all of that, we found that there are certain kinds of corporate organizations that you can't work for if you don't have that level of documentation. So being able to put that documentation together has also allowed us to now be able to work with large corporate organizations. We've worked for an IOC, we've worked for financial institutions, we've worked for much bigger private clients. So I would say that helped us. And then as a firm, we have this culture. I would say it's like a collaborative work culture where we try to bring everybody's idea to the table. So it's not just the CEO has said this and so that's how it is. We sit down, so we have very robust creed sessions. Sometimes we call everybody, even the cleaner, the driver. I could just say, come, what do you think about this? Do you think this, looks like this? And so we have very intense, robust creed sessions that help us to bring out the very best ideas. So the way we would say it here in Podex is, let the best idea win. It's not the MD's idea, it's the best idea. So we have a culture that encourages the best idea. And then we're also very big on teamwork, right? We're very big on teamwork. So we realize that everybody on the team has a strength. So when we're doing a project, we try to ensure that people are working in the areas of their greatest strength, and then we pull all of that together. So you rarely find any individual in the firm work on something alone. He always works on it as a collaborative effort with other people on the team. So I think that has made us very competitive. So we've won competitions through that. So I think it was January last year, we won a competition for a $15 million facility. It was the headquarters of Petroleum Technology Association. It was advertised in the papers. It was keenly contested. We were shortlisted for the finals together with a firm that is maybe about 50 years old, a very established firm, and we won on merit. They had a stronger profile. I mean, their track record, dating back that long, obviously was older and stronger than ours, but on the basis of the project in question, we had a better entry and we won. So we've won a few projects like that from being very competitive. So I think that's something we've tried to keep as an edge, being very competitive. Then if I may add this too, we also try to attract talented people. Try to keep great talent on the team, because somehow many times the quality of your work boils down to the quality of the people you have on your team. So that's important for us as well. What don't people know? I think I'm kind of transparent. I'm not pretentious. So I don't try to put a false facade about myself. So, but what don't people know? I think I think sometimes I meet people who are used to dealing with what they'll say the average Nigerian, and people make assumptions about the average Nigerian wanting to cut corners, or sometimes the average Igbo man, right? They assume you're about money, about this. But by God's grace, I'm a very sincere person, so I try to be very straightforward. So sometimes I find people putting you in a what they call it, putting you in a stereotype until they find that they are wrong. So I think that's it. Then I think one thing about practice is that I still feel like I'm just my simple self, right? But I guess somehow the way people react to you, people treat you, just makes you realize that certain things have changed, and you just can't be taken like a simple ordinary person anymore in certain spaces, right? So that's what I'll say. I've been married twice. I lost my first wife. So 2 years ago, I lost my wife to breast cancer. So I lost my wife, and so I had to start afresh. But I'm remarried. I got remarried this year, and it's been a beautiful experience as well. my late wife died, or when she was I would say those end stages of her illness. I was just thinking to myself, will I be able to meet somebody like this again? Because she just kind of embodied so many qualities together. She had so many things she put together in one. And I was just like, well, I don't know, maybe I may not be this lucky again to meet somebody who has all this quality in one person. But my wife today, I feel like she's a gift, because she seems to have, she seems to embody so many qualities again. So I think of myself as blessed, fortunate to have been married twice and still be married, to have married two, wonderful, amazing people. So my wife, I'm talking about my wife I'm married to now. We knew each other. Actually, I knew her many years ago, but we were just friends. Or, in fact, she says we weren't friends, we were just acquaintances. So I just knew her. I didn't really know her closely, but I just knew we had met a few. Our paths had crossed many times, but we weren't really. Our paths had crossed many times, but we weren't really close, right? But after I lost my wife and I was just thinking of starting afresh, I was just wondering, so where do I start from? And then somehow I remembered her. One thing led to another. We met up, and it was amazing how much connection there was, how many things we just had in common, even though we had known each other this long. I knew her for so long, but I didn't realize how much we had in common until we had to, relate closely. So it was easy, a very easy decision. You know how you meet somebody, just feel this is the perfect person, as if she was here waiting for me, waiting for a time like this. That's how I felt about it. Yeah.